Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of NintendoFuse's Game Chat. Today, I am joined by my fellow colleague, Mike,
Hey there.
and we are going to be talking about Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is actually a bonus that they developed because of the Kickstarter campaign for Bloodstained. It was so well received that they wanted to give a nice little bonus. So they developed an 8-bit style Castlevania style game, as in the NES trilogy of Castlevanias, definitely pulling from Castlevania 3. And this was given to backers for free, and it's also available right now on the eShop. Unfortunately, digital only. I was a backer of Bloodstained, so I was able to get a copy for free, but not before Mike here, who got a review copy because I sent review copies out before backer copies. So, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience with
Ah,
Bloodstained?
but if more or less my experience with the game is sort of like playing Castlevania for the first time. I've never actually beaten Castlevania, so it's actually pretty nice to pop into something even that retro style and actually be able to beat the game and have that option to play through it in a different way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was happy to see the difficulty levels, like those different options.
So yeah, that's something I really appreciate because I don't really play a lot of games and I like to enjoy what I am playing. And for some other games like Shovel Knights, like there is that casual option where you can just play through a normal difficulty without having all this extra damage, but it still provides just enough of a challenge that it's all fun. So
Yeah, I was looking at the options, and like you, we both play the game on casual, and I played enough Castlevania on the NES. The getting knocked back after being hit it's killed me so many times. And even when playing this, there was a spot towards the end where it was just ruthless, tons of enemies, tons of platforming, and I knew, like, if I was not on casual, I would I would have died at least 10 times. So I like that they give you that option, and I believe they let you change it even in the middle. I think I saw the option was still there, that you can change it at any time, which is nice.
yeah.
Now,
Uh,
you beat it in a day. I beat it in a day. What what would you say your favorite part of this game is?
trying to think of where it is. I believe it's the second last boss. It's the that's probably my favorite part. Just that little bit get or the climbing the tower to get up there, and then
Uh,
just going through all that, and then figuring out after the fact that it's easier to beat him with the one character after failing several times with the other characters. So
yeah, that final area was an interesting thing. They kind of threw in a little bit of a gimmick, very quick man level esque, or even reverse, because you're climbing, and that climbing segment got me a couple times. Just like you can't stop. Like there's definitely traps. Like, oh, look, there's some candles. Let's kill, break them. Nope, you stop, you're dead. Um, yeah, that got me. I will say this too. If you've ever played a Castlevania game, especially the NES ones, you will feel right at home. This game does teeter on that homage and plagiarism in a sense.
mm,
And that's not necessarily a bad thing because Konami really isn't doing anything with Castlevania. But there are certainly enemies that are just sprite swaps of Castlevania enemies.
mm.
Medusa heads and the snake on the wall,
I
stuff like
think there
that.
was dogs or panthers.
Yeah, the dogs, the axe throwing knights and stuff like that. But the bosses are all very unique, and they're
Mm.
very interesting. And you said the second to last boss was your favorite.
I should probably add into that as well. The dragon, I think, believe was the second boss. That was also a really good fight.
Yeah, there was that the one with the train, or was that?
I no, I believe it was in a castle.
Oh
It was
yes,
like
okay.
three. It was three heads, and then
Yes, the with the tail
yeah.
underneath it. Yeah, yeah, that dragon was a good fight. I like the train one. I like the guy who was like full of gold. You know, he had to deal
Mm,
with the climbing the gold stacks. There are very unique bosses. I will say
mm,
that. And even the final boss did give me a run for my money. It took me a little while to figure out what exactly I was doing.
mm,
But I will say, I wish the bosses had meters. I wish,
mm.
like I understood with NES limitations, but I kind of wish you could see how much health boss has, or even if you're actually doing damage to the boss.
Yeah, and that was the thing that sort of got me several times. I seen my health go down. I figure, oh yeah, maybe 15 or so hits, but you don't know how much damage you're actually doing to these bosses. So,
And that's something. And when you play an NES game, they don't tell you a lot of things. You get the information from the manual, and
mm,
since it's a digital game, I didn't check if there was a digital manual. I just booted it up. But provided there isn't, and there might be, and I could be wrong, but if there isn't, they don't tell you what a lot of things do. And like there's four characters in this game, and
mm,
it's really cool how you could switch between them, and we'll get to that in a bit. And they each have several sub weapons, and you can change out the sub weapons, and it works just like Castlevania. And some of them are pretty straightforward. The whip goes up, and the book throws a fireball down. But
yeah,
then you get others where it looks like you're on fire, and I was like, "What is this? It's not hurting
mm,
enemies." And I had to deduce that maybe this is just powering up my attacks. So I tried it, and there was an enemy that took 2 hits to kill, and then I used that ability, and then I swung at them, and it took 1 hit to kill. So I
mm,
was like, okay, but there's nothing that tells me that. So this whole time I'm like running
yeah,
around with fire on, like, oh, it's not doing anything. Why did I just waste my hearts on this, or my weapon power on this? And
mm,
so I do kind of wish they did tell you at least a little bit more, so you're not as blind. But again, it's also part of the fun is figuring out what they are.
yeah, and that's part of that whole retro nostalgia. Like you can go back through and play Castlevania these days without a manual, but if you're going play it blind, you're going to go through that same experience of learning like what does what and what are enemy patterns there are and everything else. So
Yeah, so let's talk about the four characters. They are almost a rip off in a sense of Castlevania Three's characters.
hmm,
You got your equivalent of Belmont, except he uses a sword, and the whip is the sub weapon.
hmm,
You've got the girl who does use a whip, has a higher jump and can slide. You've got the Alucard ripoff, who can
hmm,
turn into a bat and fly and uses magic, and then you've got your Sylvia boss or ripoff, which is the old man and has powerful magics but really weak attacks.
yeah.
And what did you think of the four characters?
Uh, they're all special in their own way. That's the best way I can say that. They all hard to say. It's in a way it's almost like Mega Man. Like you get that character's good against the boss of that level. But then you go play the next level and then it's like this character is not that good here.
Did you find yourself sticking with one character more than others?
What was it? The one with the whip. That was the
Yeah,
one
girl.
that oh wait, that's the one I mainly played with because I'm like, this is she has the most range, she has the most attack, she's the least capable of doing things. The guy with the sword or the sword guy, the one you first actually play as, is he's okay. He's more of like a damage buff at that point. So, and that's actually probably something else like we could actually mention is that each character has like a separate life bar. So even when you switch characters, you get like a full health bar on that person character, and you just keep switching. You could easily just power through the game like that as well.
Yeah, it's very much like Turtles One on the NES. When one person gets low, you can swap out, and when you find some hearts, you can swap back to that person and heal them up. See, I actually use the starting character more,
Mhm.
and the reason for that is I started using the girl with the whip because she's the second character you get,
Mhm.
and I lost her. I fell into a pit, which I'll get more into later, and then I came across an area where I needed to slide, and I was like, damn. So I realized I should stick with the guy who has the least mobility. Oh, I guess the wizard does too. And then when I encountered an area that I needed to slide or I needed to fly, I could swap to those characters. I made sure they were in good health and then
Mhm.
swap back. The guy also had a higher health bar than the others.
Yeah.
So that was my strategy. And the beauty of this game is you can go through every level with every character because the levels, while linear, also have branching paths,
Mhm.
which I think is a great idea. And each level has a hidden item. Were you able to find all the hidden items to power you up?
Uh, I've I only found, I believe, like 2 different items. That's about
Really?
it. Like,
I apparently missed the one in the first world, but I found everything else. There's 2 heart containers for more health, 2 magic containers for more magic, or what the weapon magic, a gauntlet, which I'm guessing increases your strength, and an armor, which I'm guessing increases your defense.
yeah.
And I like that it tells you like, hey, these are what you have. However, and this is a big negative to the game, and it's also part of the gimmick. If you go into the menu, there is an option that says Curse of the Moon.
Mhm.
What is this? Is this cryptic? What's Curse of the Moon? You can click it and you can actually backtrack to any world you want. Like, oh, you missed an item here. You can go back and get it, or you can go back and choose another path because the levels are actually built for you to play multiple ways. The problem is that it actually resets your progress. So, like, if I wanted to go back and get the item I missed in the first world, I would lose all my progress.
Mhm.
I might keep the actual items, like the extra heart containers, but I still have to play through all the levels again,
Yeah.
just to get to the end. And I kind of wish there was just a stage select at this point, especially after beating the game. Like, pick where you want to go, because
Mhm.
I would go through the whole game again, on my own, just going to different paths,
Mhm.
to see what else is there. I mean, they all lead to the same direction. It'd be
Yeah.
more just finding stuff, and it would be cool if there was a little more collectibles. But when I'm now, if I decide to do that, now I have to play 2, 3, 4, or 5 just to do the final boss again, or go up the tower again. I don't
Mhm.
like that. I don't like being forced to redo stuff. I like the option to just go at my whim once I've done it the first time.
I don't mind that in the end. I'm used to like losing save data from all sorts of games in the past, so I'm used to being able to leave your NES on overnight and then someone reset it. But it's happened quite a bit when I was younger. But stuff like that, like I'm very used to it. I don't mind it in the end. It could be worse, to say the least. I didn't mess around too much with it. I do like how it's titled Curse of the Moon, so you're somewhat like, to even excuse the language a bit here, is damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like,
Absolutely. No, it is. It is in sense of curse. And I get that. I'm just looking more, like, do I really want to be forced to replay? And
hmm,
with so many games, especially on the Switch, there's so many games that are coming out and that have come out. And if you watch our podcast, you hear we're all swamped. We
hmm.
literally have no time and too many games to play. Um, it's like, do I really want to go through this again, being forced?
Yeah.
And I think that's like you mentioned Mega Man. It's kind of like Mega Man, and Mega Man, you could go back and like, oh, I didn't do everything in Woodman stage, or the X series where, oh, well, this armor is in a Sting Chameleon stage. Well, oh, I missed that, and that you could just go back. You don't have to reset. Got to do it all over again. And I kind of like not having that happen, and it's a minor gripe. If
Yeah.
that doesn't phase you, then no, no big deal. They also give you a ton of save slots. I was
Oh yeah.
surprised.
I've
Yeah,
seen that and I was like, am I playing Shovel Knight again? It's like, what
yeah,
is this? 9 save slots?
it's ridiculous. I was like, okay, especially because each profile has their own saves. So like if my wife wanted to play this game, she would load in her own profile and she would have different save slots. So they really give you a lot. Like 3, I think would have been fine. But oh well, I'm not gonna complain about a lot of
I
extra.
mean, more playthroughs is more fun, I guess.
Yeah, and you get your save slot for nightmare difficulty, and when you do beat it, you unlock harder difficulties. I'm not gonna go back and play on a harder difficulty.
I
I'm
might
not one.
go. Yeah, I might go back through for some of that post game content. So
Is
I
there post
already.
game content?
Uh, you did play through. There's the second mode, like the second playthrough mode, where you had to go back through and free the other character.
I didn't see a second
Didn't?
playthrough mode. I played on casual, and it just said unlock nightmare difficulty, and like that was it.
Weird. I had something that said you had to. Like it's, I know it's it's the three characters, not the vampire character.
You start with him, and you have to free the other 3.
No, you start with the other three, but you got to free the vampire. Eventually, save the vampire character, I believe.
That's weird. I'll have to check after, but I didn't remember seeing that. See, and post game stuff I like. Post game stuff I'll go back, but when it's the same stuff, even just a different path, with the end result being the same, it's just like, is this worth my time? So let's talk about the music. What did you think about the music? Because Castlevania games are known for some fantastic scores.
For what it was, I liked it. It had that right feel for a game of that style. That's really all I can say. I played it mostly silent because I couldn't hear everything outside.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. It's just not memorable to me.
Yeah.
It fit the mood. When I was playing, it put me in the zone. But now that I put it down, in my head, like right now, just trying to think of Bloodstained music, I'm thinking of Castlevania music.
That was the thing I was going through, because I was looking at, cause when I was doing the stage transition, I was getting the Super Ghouls and Ghosts theme in my head.
Yeah.
And then starting up that first level, it's like you get the opening theme for Castlevania. It's like,
Easily.
why don't I just put these on?
Even the ending. I mean, the ending. I'm not gonna say how it ends, but that the final scenes and stuff were very reminiscent of Castlevania games, and like that's why I said it really teeters on that borderline, but in a good way. There's not a lot of these type of games. Castlevania certainly hasn't been active lately. Who knows? Konami, at the time of this recording, E3 hasn't happened yet, and Konami supposedly has 2 games to show off for the Switch. So Castlevania could be one of them, and I could be eating my words. But as of this recording, Castlevania hasn't been touched since Lords of Shadow 2.
Yeah.
Outside of the pachinko machine, but we're not going to count that. So, would you recommend this game? I'm not sure what it is. If it's $12, $10, or is it?
I think it's I believe it's $10 on the US eShop.
Okay, so for $10, would you recommend this? If someone said to you, Mike, would you buy this game for $10? Would you think I would like this? What would you say?
I definitely would recommend it. I'd sit on it. Like, my honest opinions about it are that it's a fun, quick little game. It's $10. It feels exactly like a Wii Virtual Console title. Like, you're paying $10 for something that's short and sweet and something you can play through again in a year and say, "Oh yeah, I like this game," and kind of miss this kind of style of game. Gets you back into a mood of playing something else. So
yeah, I can agree. I would recommend this game. I think there's a lot to it. And it's, for me as a banker, it's a nice bonus, because the reason Bloodstained even got backed is because the fans missed Castlevania stuff. So getting this as a nice little bonus, it was great. And the fact that everybody else can experience it too is even better. I just wish it would be, unfortunately, it's published by a different company than the actual Bloodstained. So was kind of hoping the physical copy would come with this physically. So it's like, oh, I got a physical copy of this game. Now I'm looking at limited run. Like, let's get a physical. But now you did not back Bloodstained.
No.
Now that you played this, are you more interested? Like, oh, when Bloodstained comes out for the Switch, I think I'm gonna pick it up.
I've been interested in it. I've been interested in that general style of game for a while. I haven't we really haven't had a lot of it, and like the most of it's like it's just that general like that stylized pixel art and everything else. And I'm like, it's fine and all, but I want give me something like old fashioned, like
Yeah.
something Castlevania, not Mega Man. So.
Well, the actual Bloodstained is more Metroidvania, where this is more original Castlevania before it became Metroidvania.
Yeah.
This is more, and like I said, like the NES. So if you are a fan of the NES Castlevanias, if you love them, especially number 3, then this is right up your alley. This is absolutely up your alley. It is a truly fun game. It has a lot going for it. But I will say this: there were a couple little negatives that I do want to point out. They're nitpicks, but they're negatives. One is the jumping. The jumping is fixed. So like if you're jumping and you over jump and you're like, oh my, I'm not going to be able to make that platform. You can't push back to retract your jump. You are going the trajectory. 2, the sliding is also fixed, and that has actually gotten me killed. There was an area where I had to run and slide, and there was lava in the area, which you might, if you played the game, you know the area where there's a bunch of lava. And I slid, and I didn't get out from underneath the platform that I was under. And it's not like Mario where you slide under and it kind of like pushes you out. So I'm stuck under there. So the only option I had to do was slide again. But because the slide distance is fixed, when I slid, I couldn't stop myself and right into the lava. I was like, what? Wow, that was cheap, like, and a couple other things just falling. It's very death is very unforgiving in this game. If you fall, you die. Like even if you were climbing down, like say the staircase is going zigzag going down. If you do not go down the stairs to transition to the bottom level, if you just oops, I fell, and there are times where I fell through a staircase, it counts as a death. And I was like, wait, I wasn't trying to kill my like that no, So they're minor nitpicks. There is a life system, so if you do die, that character is now dead. You go back to the checkpoint, and you have the remaining characters. But if that character is the girl or the vampire-like character, you lose the mobility that they have, and you lose possible paths. But if you kill everybody else off, you lose a life, and you start back over. And if you do play on casual, you have infinite lives. So there were times where I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna knock my characters down and start over. But I do want to address them. They were there. Again, it's just minor nitpick. If that doesn't bother you, then nothing. If it does bother you, honestly, you can look past it with a little bit of like a little frustration. But that's the NES style, right? It's a game without a little frustration.
The NES, what was it? Is either NES Angry or whatever it was, or
people say NES Hard. It's like
that's what it was.
NES Hard. That's NES Hard.
I haven't heard that in a while. So,
so any final thoughts that you would like to tell both the developers as well as people who are on the fence of Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon?
Honestly, I would love a sequel to the 8-bit version of this game, like something more akin to that, same style as say Simon's Quest, or even going to a style that's a little bit more reminiscent of Super Castlevania. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I think the actual Bloodstained is more Symphony of the Night, but it has the a little bit better graphics, not the 8-bit. But no, I agree with you. I would love a sequel. I'm not expecting a sequel until after the main game comes out. But the story did come and end on a cliffhanger, and I do hope to see these characters in the other Bloodstained game. I think it would be a mistake to not have them there in some capacity, and they might have even announced it. I'm a backer. I haven't been reading every monthly update. Just too much is going on. So if that's already there and someone's like, oh, or you should know that, then I'm sorry. I'm a terrible backer. They just took my money. But no, developers, if you are listening, definitely would love to see a sequel. And if you are even on the fence, watch some videos on it. But no, it's a short game. You can finish it in just over an hour if you play through, especially on casual. But there's other difficulties. If you like a challenge, if you're like, Dark Souls hard kind of deal, you can get that in this game too. So it's nice. It gives you the option. But that about does it. So if you like this video, please give us a like and feel free to subscribe to our channel. We do more game chat reviews like this, and we also do other things like Industry Talk, where we talk to developers of games, as well as our podcast that we do bi-monthly. Also, we do some gameplay videos and other little direct chats and stuff like that. So please, we would love to see your subscription, and let us know in the comments below what you think of this game. And if you think we're wrong, if you think we're right, just let us know. And also, check out our website, NintendoFuse.com, for more Nintendo news and tidings and all that jazz. And Mike, thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Barry.
And until next time, we'll see you around.
Yeah, see ya.